on A Mighty Blaze with Lian Dolan on her pub day. This is Robin Kall. Oh, there she is. I love the way Jenna could pop. I'm always thinking Bewitched whenever I see the popping on and the popping off.
I always think of this story Jenna told us on Satellite Sisters when she said, when she was writing her last book, that she used to dress in costume of the era, like put on go-go boots and a mini skirt and like to write. I can't even imagine that. She's such an inspiration. That had never even occurred to me.
You know what? If anybody were to do that, it would be Jenna. Because,
right.
I mean, we were doing a live last night, and she just had her tiara handily right by her in the bathroom, and she just put it on and was shaking up her quarantinis, and just amazing energy always. So thank you, Jenna, for getting us on.
Yes.
I think I did all of that. Robin, Reading with Robin, A Mighty Blaze, Lian Dolan, the Sweeney Sisters is out today.
Yay!
Yes, look at this gorgeousness, and Lian's wearing a matching ensemble.
Thank you.
Is it a dress or is it?
It's just a shirt. It's just a shirt, and I happened to buy it before the book cover.
Oh, really?
I just happened to like florals on blue background. I thought, oh, that's a good shirt for me. And then the book cover came, and then that started a whole buying spree of buying clothes that look like the book cover for my awesome book tour.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to see them. I mean, I got dresses, I got pants. I'm putting them all on, no matter where I'm sitting.
You have to make it a party. I mean, it's not the party and Lian and I have, first of all, let's do an introduction, shall we?
Okay.
Lian Dolan is a writer and podcaster. She's the host of Satellite Sisters, a podcast she created with her 4 real sisters. She's the author of 2 best-selling novels, Helen of Pasadena and Elizabeth, the First Wife, and the co-author of 2 collections of essays, Satellite Sisters, Uncommon Senses, and You're the Best, a celebration of friendship. She has written columns for O, the Oprah magazine, and Working Mother, and is currently a columnist for Pasadena Magazine. A graduate of Sonoma College, she lives in Pasadena, California with her husband, 2 sons, and Big Papa. Welcome to A Mighty Blaze, Lian.
Oh, I'm really honored to be here. I know people say that, but I am. I'm honored to be here with you, Robin, and I appreciate the work that A Mighty Blaze is doing. From the second they announced it, I was like, that's a huge, ambitious program. Good for them.
Sure was. And it feels like so long ago and 2 seconds ago. And Lian and I had the pleasure of chatting last week on Lian's show on Satellite Sister. Visit her on Satellite Sisters. Find her on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Lian, you do an awesome job of keeping everybody up on everything that's happening, bookish and otherwise. And I read the Sweeney Sisters a very long time ago, and I remember when you told me about it, I was like, yeah, I'm ready. And it's true, because it's your signature humor and heart. It's funny, smart, and full of heart. That's my trifecta, and that's the Sweeney Sisters.
I'll take it.
That's funny, smart, full of heart. It's true. Those are my favorite kinds of books. And I, this is the kind of thing that people are going to be in the mood for, because you can really sink down into this book. And it's out today. I'm just going to keep holding it up. Do you have a copy too to hold up?
Yes, I do. I have this copy. Yes, I know. When they sent me the cover, I literally teared up. I was like, that's the most beautiful cover I've ever seen. I thank you for the good review. When I first started writing fiction, I thought, well, there are other people out there that are going to write literature, and their prose is going to be poetry. But I think that there's a niche for my kind of observational humor, the sort of humor I've been doing on the podcast and in my column writing for years. I was like, I think maybe there's a space in fiction that I can fit into. And so I like that. I like that it has heart, but I think that there's some LOL lines. I mean, there are lines I laugh at every time I read it.
Absolutely. And that's, of course I see it cinematically, and it, just the sisters and the surprise and the twist, and it's a bookish book. So it's a book lover's book with the secrets and all. So it's just that kind of story that, you had me right at the beginning. And again, it's been a while, and I flipped through just to remember some of the lines. I remember highlighting them actually in my galley.
Okay.
This is the finished book. And
yes.
When the galley came, I marked those. I've been known to mark these up too, but the finished books are not coming as fast and furiously, so I'm revering them a little bit more. So not right in this one. But again, it is pub day, and visit liandolan.com for all information. There's an event tonight, right, at Romans? Is that
another virtual event? I live here in Pasadena, California. We have an amazing indie bookstore that's over 100 years old.
Yeah.
Obviously they're closed, but I was really looking forward to the big party there. I've done a lot of great events at Vroman's, and so I'm really happy they were able to figure out a virtual event. And the wonderful Susan Wiggs of the Oysterville Sewing Circle is going to be interviewing me. Yeah, we share an editor at William Morrow, so I haven't met her, but I'm excited and I'm thrilled. So I'm looking forward to that too. A month ago, who knew what was going to happen, so I'm really happy to celebrate. I'm happy to take this moment, really.
Right. I mean, it's the kind of thing where book lovers are going to celebrate those books coming out. People are reading so much, people are sharing. It's for sure a book club kind of pick. There are so many discussions to take out of it, and also it's to me it's a comforting book. And so that's what I want to be reading right now. And when Lian and I were talking, I don't know, a while ago about doing events, and
right,
even 5 or 6 weeks ago, the end of April sounded kind of likely. And this book takes place in Connecticut, so not far from me.
Right.
We had all sorts of possibilities and
plans, island hopping, gin and tonics.
All sorts of stuff that will be for another time. Right now we're all staying safe. Now, are you wearing that same top tonight, or are you going to change?
No, I have another dress. I bought a couple of outfits. So this is my East Coast premiere top for you, Robin, and for a Mighty Blaze. And then I have a nice Trina Turk dress that I'll be wearing, just kind of preppy, but California preppy. So it really hits the book. But
tailoring your outfits to the location of origin, because we're everywhere, which is really kind of cool. So people are like, what is she talking, East Coast, West Coast? We're all one people now. We're just all.
I know we are. I know. I know we are. I know. But I thank you for the kind words. I've been working with my sisters for so long, and I'd never really written a book about sisterhood. Yeah. So I thought, well, now's the time. I got it, because one thing I know from doing Satellite Sisters, which was our radio show and now podcast, is that people are fascinated by sisters, and either they have sisters and so they like hearing that sisterly dynamic, or they don't have sisters and they always wondered what it would be like. So I knew there was an opportunity to write about sisters, and I've been a sort of a professional sister for 20 years. So I felt like I had
one on the radio. You are a professional.
Yeah.
What I was actually thinking, because sisters are, at the forefront of what you do, and your sisters, that bond, and then the next generation, which I love. And so I was thinking kind of like, why now? Or was it, just ripe for writing about sisters now? Because that is so much a part of who you are and who you present.
Well, one of the challenges is that I felt like I had been tied to my sisters. Like, oh my gosh, I am more than just a sister. So, I sort of purposely stayed away my first couple of books because I didn't want people to think, oh, those are Lian's sisters, or she's writing about her sisters, or that's all she knows how to do. I mean, it's stupid, because really, when you're writing a first book, no one cares. No one's expecting it. No one's waiting for your first novel. It was a calculated choice. But I felt now that I could take a look and sort of what I've observed about sisterhood, and part of doing the podcast, we've talked to a million experts on birth order and family dynamics, and people have pulled us aside at events to tell us about their sisters or stuff that's happening in their family. And so I feel like I had accumulated a lot of knowledge, and I was ready to write about sisterhood.
Well, that's why it's so authentic, and it just feels like it's the right time to do that. But that's very interesting, that being so tied in, it would have been like almost too obvious. So you sort of
yes,
away, and second wife thing. Did I mess up that title?
The First Wife, Elizabeth the First Wife. Yeah, that's okay. That's got a Shakespeare theme. So see, Elizabeth the First, that's what that's from.
It was also a terribly clever book, both of them.
Thank you.
Meeting you at Book Expo, I think they're Helen, Pasadena, and I was like, there she is.
Right.
I've been a fan of the Satellite Sisters from the beginning. And you talk about sisters. So as an aside, my sister in her Instagram story yesterday, she had been away. I won't go into the whole story. They came back. And my other sister, so my sisters live in Connecticut, near where your book takes place, where the Sweeney Sisters.
Right.
And my little sister, at 50, still little sister,
right,
had filled the refrigerator for middle sister. And so my sister had it in Instagram with the note that my sister left in the refrigerator, adorable. And I was like, oh, that's so sweet. That's so Jen. She returned the dog and she filled the fridge. And then there was the saddest picture of the two of them with their hands on either side of the glass from outside.
Oh.
Middle sister is quarantining, of course, because she just got back from and then my little sister's outside, but I was like, but I should be there with my hand on the glass, but I'm glad they're together. But so anyway, yeah, the sister thing is a really, in our family too, very tight bond. And, there's 3 of us. So we're always like, if you guys are 5. So
we're 5. And then we have 3 brothers. So
that.
Yeah. So 8.
I always forget you have brothers. I think of the
right.
5. So share a little bit about the story, the characters, no spoilers on A Mighty Blaze, no worries, anybody.
Okay.
Go to liandolan.com I want to make sure I get that in because you must follow Lian on Twitter and it's a rule. It's a rule on A Mighty Blaze. You must follow, like, share, love, and tweet. There you go.
Thank you. So the story is the story of 3 Irish Catholic girls from Connecticut, and it's set in my hometown, which I'd never written about Connecticut before. My other 2 books were set in Pasadena, so it was fun to kind of go back and kind of relive a little bit of that and suss out new places because it's set in contemporary day. It's not a book of memory, but it's a story about these 3 sisters, and they have the same parents, but they have different lives, and they haven't always connected, and they're off doing different things. There are 3 women, one's turning 30, and then there's a little bit of an age gap, and then the other 2 are in further on into their 30s. And because I think the 30s, for me personally, that was just a time of tremendous change. Like, women are going through a lot of change in their 30s. So I like the idea of writing about women. Should I have kids? Should I get married? Should I not have kids? Should I change my job? Should I do this? Like, there's just a lot happening in your 30s. And then when you hit 40, you're just sprinting for the next decade. You're just trying to maintain the life you've established. But so the Sweeney sisters are in their 30s. One of their father is a prominent writer, I'll say that. And some changes happen, and an over-the-counter DNA test kind of changes the makeup of their family. So that's the kickoff point for the book.
Yeah, and there is nothing more fraught than not knowing certain information and having family secrets pop up, shall we say. And
yeah.
It really throws a whole, the story in another direction. And I think that's one of the things I'm just thinking of. Again, no spoilers on my.
I know.
And it is interesting when you're talking about fiction and how much to talk about the story in itself.
Right.
The characters are all so compelling, and you sort of found myself connecting with each of them in different ways. But the takeaway of the family secrets are always, like, they always will come out at some point. And it's funny, I spoke to Dani Shapiro about her book, her new book.
Oh, right. That came out while I was writing this one.
Right. Inheritance. So
yes.
Right. So that came out, and we had a podcast, I don't know if it was last fall. I can't remember. It was before all this, that's for sure. I think it was I don't remember now. But, and she has a podcast now, but we were talking about the idea of family secrets. And with DNA testing, how, if that happens to be a particular family secret, how long will those stay hidden? And depending on the generations and who's around to talk about what when, it answers questions and it brings up more questions.
It's a game changer. I mean, it's funny because I was in the middle of writing this when Dani's book came out. Remember, she sort of announced the story and the book came out the next day. It was like sort of a surprise. And I didn't read it because I thought, oh no. Like, first of all, I don't I didn't want any weird influence. I didn't exactly know the
Right.
story. It's not a match, but there's certainly elements of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, and every day, really the inspiration for this book came from a Facebook post I saw in our
Oh,
group, or someone just posted a photo and they had a new brother, but these were like people in their, 50s.
yeah.
And I remember, doing, oh, yay, thumbs up. And then thinking, really? Like,
Not really welcome.
that actually seems terrible. Like I tried to imagine like a new person showing up at our Thanksgiving dinner. Like, it's inconceivable, right, Robin? I mean, you've got your two sisters. Imagine you have a new brother that shows up. What is that about? So I just thought it was a really good jumping off point to take a look at family dynamics that already exist anyway, so
There's nothing family.
there's a story every day. Every day there's a story in the news or Facebook on this now. It's unbelievable.
Because we have the ability to know things. And on the Satellite Sisters, I mean, all the years of interviewing people, speaking to experts, between all of you, like is there any topic you haven't covered, or one that is particularly front and center for you guys, or, between all of you, things that are the most important, or anything that you're surprised that, I don't know, just maybe that surprises you, or that, the way people connect to it, or I don't know what the question was.
I can say in general, like our show is not a political show and never has been. So even though we were on news channels and news talk in the radio business, we're not the ones to go to if you want the latest polling numbers. And we'll talk about issues and headline news stories, but it's not from a left, right, center point of view. So, and in a way that opens up so many more areas of conversation, right? If you don't have to talk about what everyone else is talking about, you can talk about some of the issues that really matter, particularly to women. I mean, we've always been a show that's been proud to be focused on women, though we have lots of satellite misters. And so that means it is like the transitions in your life. It is like deciding to have a baby, going back to work, becoming a widow. Like those are getting a divorce, having to change careers midstream, having a child with learning disabilities. Like those are issues that we've been able to talk about because we're not so focused on politics. So that's always been a goal, to talk about the things that women talk about when they're together. And it's a little bit of news headline, but it also is like, this is what's happening in my life. I need to chat with someone about that. I would say we're not good talking about sex. That is not a strength.
Well, we talked that off air, right? That's not
a strength.
Particularly better than another sister talking about it.
I think I'm the only one that's ever even said the word on the show. So
there's that. Okay, got it.
And that's maybe because I'm the youngest sister. I don't know why, and I don't even think I'm good at it. So we don't really talk about sex. That's a huge chunk of women's lives. Whatever. Again, there are plenty of podcasts for you somewhere. But it always surprises me that the stuff that resonates is the small stuff. It's the small connective tissue of people's lives. Like we could have a news headliner on the show. If we've had ex-presidents and secretaries of state, but then we'll also have like, a segment on like finding the right size bra. And that's the one that people will respond to,
it's tough to do. That's why
it's a challenge. But that's, we've always found that it's the small stuff that people really connect to. And so we do try to balance the show. It also helps us drive what we talk about. Like we don't feel the need to be the smartest person in the room all the time. Sometimes you just need to be the most authentic person in the room.
I agree. And that's that comes across in the show and in your connections and in your writing. It's your voice, and that's why people tune in and read your work. So did all the sisters get an early copy at the same time? Who read first? Who didn't finish? Did everybody weigh in? How does that go?
First of all, we have a very, very solid rule in our family: no free copies. Robin, I can't be giving away 7 siblings. I mean, they're on the hook to buy the book, right?
Absolutely. No, that's fair. Yeah.
So
they share.
come on,
and share it, or do they?
Oh no. multiple copies. They are on the hook for multiple copies. No, my sisters Liz and Julie both read it, but after it was done, when it was, in ARC format, they're not fiction writers, so it's not like I would turn to them for, hey, what do you think of this?
Right.
With all due respect, they're smart, wonderful people. They read a lot, but they don't write, so it's a different process.
Mm-hmm.
And then Sheila and Monica said they wanted to wait till the book came out. So that's also fine. So, so my sister Julie really, really enjoyed it. She actually read it when she was at my house. She was staying here for a while, and she read it. She's like, I don't want to finish the book, which is always such a great compliment.
That is
and my sister Liz.
Did you go like, what page are you on, Julie? What are you up to?
Yeah.
Did she just laugh? What'd you laugh at? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I told them when I sold the book, I said, just get ready. It's all in there. Like everything we ever did is in there, but the names have all been changed. So
I love it. Yeah. I mean, siblings need to be good for material and all of that. It's a team sport writing a book.
Yeah, right. And the book is set in Southport where we grew up, but we moved there when I was about 4 and I'm the youngest. And so that people had different interactions with Southport. They went to prep school, then college. They weren't there that long, but I was there the whole time. And so my sister Liz said, boy, I just never noticed any of those things about Southport that you did.
Yeah. I think that also depending on where the family is at the time that you're noticing different things, we know everybody has very different perceptions, and it's like, wait, what story? Or they're seeing from a whole different vantage point. And
right.
If you say as the youngest and having spent more of the time there, I'm sure it gave them, like, oh yeah, wait, what was that? Whatever you were writing about, or in whichever scene or landmarks or something that somebody said or a neighbor or whatever filters in. But
right,
you get to use all of that material, and there's got to be so much in there, and it's all here. SWEENY Sisters by Lian Dolan. It's out today. It's April 28th. It's pub day. And visit Lian's site at liandolan.com, and you can find her on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook. And it's a lot to keep up with, isn't it?
I know the social media is learning for me. I mean, but I'm a big believer in women of a certain age continuing to press forward with tech stuff. Yeah. I'm not a digital native. You're not. But I'm impressed what we have taught ourselves, Robin. And I talk about it on the show all the time. Like, just these are tools. You just got to keep moving forward, and they're communication tools. And you learn and dismiss if you don't want to, but don't be intimidated. So I learned more about Instagram yesterday than I had in my previous many decades on the planet.
Did you learn? I want to hear, like, did you learn anything like that you can share with the audience that will make it simpler for someone else? Or
well, I'm doing an Instagram takeover at Spivey's book club today, and I thought, well, sure, I'll post a few things. Great. And they're like, oh no, you got to answer questions. You have to learn how to post the questions and then answer them. And I learned how to do a boomerang yesterday. And I mean,
that's awesome.
I had to call the 20 something assistant at the PR firm today, like, how do I answer the questions again? But I did it. I figured it out.
And
so
something so satisfying about being able to do that. I mean, there's always people that can help with things, and that's necessary sometimes too, but then being able to just jump in and get it done. And then you're like, yeah, I know how to do a boomerang. I was asking my daughter if I needed TikTok, and she said, no. No. I was like, no, you don't. Because I don't want to miss anything either. And everybody's
right. I think it's great. Just, and again, it's give it a whirl. And then if it's not for you, don't do it. But I agree with you, your daughter on TikTok. I'm glad she said that, because I was like, that feels like a bridge too far, for me.
Probably also the sense of when I say, do I need to do TikTok? That would mean that she needs to be TikTok. So I think there was a little bit of that. Before we end this, because I have Ruthie Thorpe on at 3:00 and we don't know how it's going to go live or not. What are you recommending? Other books that are either just out or that you have on your stack?
Oh gosh, I know you had told me to prepare for this, and I should have prepared more. But I actually just finished The Ancestor by Danielle Trustoni.
Yeah.
It's a gothic, like a family mystery set in northern Italy. I don't read a lot. I wouldn't say like, oh, gothic.
Right.
But I really, really enjoyed this. I like the Italian setting. I like the history. There's mythology. I just really thought it was a really well done book. I just also finished a book that comes out in July called Well-Behaved Indian Women, which I liked a lot. The author's last name is Dave, D-A-V-E. It's like Samaya Dave.
Mm-hmm.
And it's her first novel, and it's a really rich tapestry of 3 generations of Indian women. And it really explores the question of marriage, which I find fascinating. I like books that take a look at marriage because it's pretty easy as a writer to write a dysfunctional marriage. Like, that's easy. But actually a functional marriage and make that interesting is interesting to me. So in this book, it really looks at the 3 women through their arranged marriages, like the difference in the generations between how they met their significant others and how that shapes the rest of their lives. So I really enjoyed that. It's like, just like you said, it's warm, it's got heart, it's like chewy and comforting at the same time. So The Ancestor and Well-Behaved Indian Women.
Well-Behaved Indian Woman. All right, I'll have to remember that. Well, Danielle Trustoni's I have, but the one out in July, Well-Behaved Indian Woman.
Yeah, it's good.
Sam Fowler is a Well-Behaved Woman, which came out last year. So this
Oh, okay.
Woman, coming out in July. And thank you so much for joining us on your pub day, and enjoy the rest of your Spivey Book Club takeover. It's the Sweeney Sisters, Lian Dolan. A pleasure always to talk to you. All the best to your family.
Thanks, Robin. Thanks, Jenna. Thank you.
On behalf of A Mighty Blaze, I'll be back at 3 o'clock, probably. I think we're still live.
Okay, yeah, I'm not gonna.
It looks
I've fallen for this before.
Really? What's happened?
Well, yeah. Well, and some couple of times on Satellite Sisters, we didn't know the guests were on, and we would say it was usually things like, "Oh, he's really hot." You know, it was just totally embarrassing things about like Sanjay Gupta. You know, I mean, so,
like a hot mic or a hot
yeah.
I can see it's recording, and I can't stop it. So
Right.
We're at the mercy of Jenna. We're at the mercy of. So what else is new, Lian?
Yeah.
First, you can't get it to go live, and then
Right.
let you off. Okay. I guess we'll just keep talking.
Okay.
So, Lian, what was for lunch today?
I haven't had it yet. It's only noon here.
That's right. I haven't had.
Yeah.
That's so
okay.
We're at the mercy of. So, what else is new, Lian?
Hi. I'm turning off that hot mic now, you guys. Bye, readers. Thank you for putting up with our technical difficulties. It was such a pain, but you ladies are on. You were great.
Jenna.
Bye. Thank you, guys. Thanks.
Okay.